Hola.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's Tuesday. We're diving into college football. It's the start of NBA season, baby. And we're going to break down some NFL games. Jesse's going to break down Colorado, Utah, and give us a couple college teams to bet on or fade. Next week, Bryan Power is going to preview Thursday night football, and we're going to talk some NBA. Lawrence is going to jump in and bring us Cowboys and Broncos thoughts, along with some NHL insights as we get to the second week, I believe, in NHL. It's a big board, got a lot of information. Let's get right to it. All right, let's bring in Jesse. Listen, I've been red hot on bets. Colin. Yeah, Colin, the Texans were a disappointment last night. Colin has signed off on the Texans. Jesse, you're about done with Georgia Tech, are you?
I think I'm done with Georgia Tech for sure. I might have made a mistake last week, just letting my emotions get the best of me. My anger at Georgia Tech for that 2-point conversion costing me on the hook against Virginia Tech.
Gianni was on yesterday and he was saying that they're not that good. Like they're not amazing.
I mean, their defense is terrible.
Yeah, so it's not. I don't know. My take on Georgia Tech was just I just don't think they're that bad. But Yanni was like, they are so.
I mean, I bet on them to make the playoffs, so I can't say that I think they suck because I did preseason. I said they're a long shot to make the playoffs, but I've always maintained that they're only going to go as far as their quarterback can take them, and they're one Haynes King knockout of the game away from season. Everything goes to hell if he gets hurt, and the way he plays, he's likely to be getting hurt.
I feel like watching him the same way I feel about watching Jackson Dart. Just like face first into the defensive line, taking on linebackers. You're just like, man, how long is this going to last? So you got a couple teams to fade here, but I want to start with Colorado versus Utah. Nice game here. Utah's coming off a 3-point loss at BYU. They had the lead in the fourth quarter. They squandered the lead. Little bit of a comeback, but Colorado's coming off a nice win against Iowa State. How do you break down these two teams in this particular matchup?
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate for Utah. But, Colorado comes in 3-4, 3-3 against the spread. They're 0-2 on the road, though. They are off a bye. I did have them in that upset win over Iowa State. Colorado won 49-24 at Utah last year. Of course, Utah last year didn't have a quarterback. They were down to third and fourth string quarterbacks. Actually, I believe that was at Colorado last year because they've lost 5 straight at Utah and 3 of their last 4 losses at Utah by 14 or more points. The Buffs were a bit lucky to beat Iowa State, I feel. They were outgained 441 to 395 in total yards. Iowa State had an edge in first downs, 22-16. Penalties and turnovers killed the Cyclones, and the Cyclones were a little banged up, which is why I had Colorado in that game. And Utah, heartbreaking loss to BYU. Devin Dampierre did everything in his power to lead them to victory, throwing for 244 yards, a pair of touchdowns, a career-high 121 rushing yards, and a rushing TD. I've got a Kyle Whittingham quote for us. Did some really good things tonight. Outrushed them, outthrew them, but we didn't score more points than them, said Whittingham. And that sums it up. I mean, they probably played as good as they could hope to play, and it just didn't work out. But at home in a revenge game against a Colorado team that I don't think matches up well. Colorado ranks 16th in the Big 12 in rushing defense, allowing 188 yards per game on the ground. Utah leads the Big 12 in rushing offense, averaging 245 yards per game on the ground. Advantage Utah. They win this one by 2 scores, 13.5. I'll lay it with the Utes.
All right. Every week we go over a couple teams to fade or bet on. You've been the king of fading some of these teams, and honestly, we kind of joke about it. Say, oh, Jesse's always fading teams, but you've had some nice plus money, wins and takes on this one. So give us 2 teams you're looking to bet on or against this week.
Well, thank you, Andy. I know last week's 0-2 showing was disappointing, but I should point out Additional plays last week, I did have Louisville on Friday night outright, and then Stanford on Saturday night outright, both huge underdogs winning outright. So unfortunately, I didn't have them in this segment, but I did have them on the channel. But as far as what we're going to look at, as far as teams to fade this week, let's talk about that BYU team we were just talking about. They are at Iowa State, and they're coming off that huge win in a rivalry game, the Holy War, in a game that could have gone either way. And of course, Iowa State is not quite as good, the record isn't as good as BYU. BYU is 7-0 still, but I like Rocco Becht against Bear Bachmeier here. Bachmeier last week, just 13 of 22 passing, 166 yards. Rocco Becht, I was impressed with him on the road at Cincinnati in a losing effort. He rallied his team all the way back to get that game close at the end. This is just a really good spot for Iowa State. I went against them 2 weeks ago in Colorado because they were banged up. 2 weeks later, they're coming off a bye, a home game against BYU, and BYU in that big letdown spot coming off that win in the Holy War. I like Iowa State at home against this undefeated BYU team that has the strength of schedule is questionable. Barring the win last week against Utah, they haven't really played anybody. And they won last week at home, but now they go out on the road a week later. Tough spot for BYU.
How dare you say that about Portland State and Stanford on the week schedule just to start the season? How dare you? All right, what's your next team we're fading?
Okay, another team that I bet on last week, Arizona State. They were catching 7.5 against Texas Tech at home. But this week, off that upset win over Texas Tech, I think we fade Arizona State laying 7.5 points. And Marco would love this one because it's a classic sandwich spot. They come off the Texas Tech win, and they have Iowa State on deck. So it's a Big 12 championship game rematch. And they play Houston this week. Houston's 6-1, 5-2 against the spread. They've won all three of the road games. Houston's only loss came to Texas Tech. And Houston ranks 5th in the Big 12 in passing defense, allowing 194 yards per game. They rank 7th in the Big 12 in scoring, allowing just 19 points per game. There's no question this Houston defense is good enough to make a game of it. Connor Wegman, I was really low on him coming into the season. I was not impressed with him at Texas A&M, but different coaching staff, different system. He's doing quite well, 1,380 yards, 11 touchdowns, just 2 picks. The Arizona State, the injuries last week, they had a long list of injuries that were released just before the game. So that made it even more incredible that they were able to upset Texas Tech. Their center, they lost their center, Ben Coleman. He apparently is the number 1 pass protector in the Big 12 as ranked by Pro Football Focus. They lost him. Now the backup is banged up as well. They've got some injury concerns. They got the letdown spot, the sandwich spot. I'm going to take the points with Houston plus 7.5 at Arizona State.
All right, good breakdowns there, Jesse. Any teams that you've been surprised? I think it's an interesting conversation when this discussion about power rankings, like what the lines would be compared to, the rankings of actual college team. You mentioned Georgia Tech. Is there another team that's kind of high ranked that you would say, man, I'm not sure they really belong there? I find this discussion fascinating.
I mean, I don't even want to say what I'm thinking of saying, but I think that if we go back and look at the tape, my surprises came in the first few weeks, but everything that I was predicting preseason has sort of come around now, and it's starting to fit into where I had it in the beginning of the year. Examples, maybe Florida State. They beat Alabama, and then they just fall apart. Well, I was never expecting them to beat Alabama, so they turned out to be who I thought they were. Texas A&M, I mean, I gave them out on this channel before the season started, said they're one of my dark horses to make the playoffs. They're undefeated. I mean, I could go on, but I'm kind of feeling like it's all starting to fit together for me. And the results, 80% the last 2 weeks are sort of showing that, Andy.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, it is $5 Tuesday. What do you have up for everyone?
NBA. It is the beginning of the NBA season. I'm number one at WagerTalk with player props dating back to 2022 and NBA player props. That is, I'm up 72 units since 2024 with the NBA. That's number 2 in profit during that span. And I've got a player prop for tonight's game between Golden State and the LA Lakers.
Nice. Excellent work. I'm excited to talk NBA for the next, feels like 10 months. So maybe we can get some NBA talk here going, Jesse. Thank you very much. Go check Jesse out on $5 Tuesday. Good luck this weekend. Jesse, let's keep the show rolling. And you guys hit the like button, please. Algorithm boost time. And really, again, shout out to Colin. Colin made a very friendly wager with myself. We were going back and forth on the Texans and the Seahawks. And Colin, I got to tell you, that gave me a 3-2 week in my mega pick contest. So I keep in track with the leaders on Bet Online. So let's root on your boy. But I appreciate it. And the Texans, they made it a little bit closer than it was. But that offensive line is just a nightmare for Houston. Absolute nightmare. So let's bring in Bryan Power. Bryan... where's that? Where did you have? Where was that comment? What a company man! Bryan Power reposted the stream.
Yeah, I didn't know it worked like that. I said, "Oh, yes, I just did." At least I did it right, Andy. At least yes.
I was like, that's an odd comment. I don't know why he typed that. And then
I did it. I did it. I did it. I'd never seen that before. That's why they have me on here talking and not, handling the right side of my screen here. It shocks me every time I'm on, Andy.
Well, Bryan, we're going to talk about these two NBA games tonight, and fascinating games. All of these teams tonight are going to be probably playoff, contenders, barring injuries, and then I want to get into Thursday night football. So let's start with this Rockets, Thunder, Warriors, Lakers games tonight, and the streak continues. It's one of the strangest streaks. You are 10-0 on the last 5 weeks, giving out free picks on your segment. It is the strangest run I've seen in recent memory. So let's do Rockets and Thunder first. Van Vliet, obviously the big injury. I'm interested in your take on this one. Thunder returning everybody. Their Thunder are massive favorites. I get it. Tough to go against them. How's your breakdown on this game tonight?
Yeah, 10 of the last 5 weeks on the show, Andy. I like to think that's why they keep asking me back. So today I'm up in the ante. I'm giving you 3 picks. So let's see if I can live up to the challenge here. Rockets, Thunder, OKC, obviously the defending NBA champs. Don't need to tell the people that, but anyway, coming to the season as the obvious favorites to repeat. They're clearly the best team in the league. Now, 1 year removed from posting the best regular season point differential in league history. Fair to ask, Andy, I think, what motivation do they have to post a great record? I cannot remember. I was laughing to myself about this right before I came on. I can't remember if you and I were talking on or off air last week about this, but we were mentioning some value in betting the Thunder possibly to go under their regular season win total. I know that number has come down since over the last week, it looks like. So I don't know how much value there is in doing that now, but there are some challengers in the West, notably Denver, Houston, who I'll get to in a moment. But my feeling is Thunder are likely to still end up with the best record in the conference when all is said and done at the end of the regular season. Now, Houston, they finished second, if you recall, guys, last year. So, like I said a moment ago, they definitely qualify as a challenger to the OKC throne as well. They had Kevin Durant. They're going to have the biggest lineup in the NBA, the biggest starting lineup in the NBA this season. Durant, Adams, Şengün, Smith, and Thompson. Everybody's 6'7" or taller. 4 guys 6'11" or taller. It's a lot of height. And so OKC, they've got Holmgren, Hartenstein. They usually have that height edge down low. Not here. It's worth noting, Andy, Rockets' last preseason game, I don't know how much value you put into the preseason. I don't know how much value a lot of the folks watching put into the preseason, but I wanted to share this. The Rockets' starting lineup was on the floor for 12 minutes together. They outscored the Pelicans by 60. Pelicans are not a good team, obviously, but they did outscore them, the Rockets did, by 16 points in those 12 minutes of play. I'll give you a player prop for this one. I really wanted to go Kevin Durant under rebounds because I don't think they're going to ask him to rebound a lot. He's going to be starting at the 2, Andy. This is a very large, it's a tall player to be starting at shooting guard, obviously, but that number's at 4.5. I'll tell the folks this. It's heavily juiced over at 4.5. If that were to get to 5.5, I would come back and hit the under on Durant's rebounds. But what I'm going to give you, official lean here to keep the streak going, hopefully, is Şengün. This is, I think, pretty popular. Şengün over 33.5 points, rebounds, plus assists. He's gone over this number 6 of the last 8 times he's faced OKC. He's just a do-everything guy for the Rockets. We understand this. Between the 3 categories, he should get to 34.
All right. Well, Brian, you reposted the stream, so I'm going to join you in the fun. I hit the like button.
There we go.
I hit the like button.
Yes, they're keeping tabs on us. They're keeping tabs on us, Andy, what we're doing. God, I'm not going to do anything else. Who knows what's going to show up on that screen here.
We got some support on that. Şengün likes over 1.5 assists first quarter. They want Şengün to create plays, sleep in the first quarter. I worry about the Thunder kind of sleepwalking a little bit to start the season. This was that's a big, that's a lot of miles, even though they're the younger bodies. And I think one of the most hilarious thing about the Thunder was in their post-game celebration after they win the championship, there were like several of them that were like, yeah, this is my first time I've ever tasted beer. Like,
I know.
These guys are just locked and loaded.
Yeah, and I remember, well, they're not loaded. They're locked, but not loaded, apparently. That's right. They actually showed the picture of all the undrinking beer in the locker room. I said, what are we doing? I said, 20-year-old me is just repulsed by what I'm seeing here right now. So I don't know if it was just not good beer or what.
They're just different, man. That team is just really, really different and really interesting to
my
watch.
My guess nobody on that starting 5's got a belly like this, Andy. So more power to them.
Let's talk this Warriors and the Lakers team. I find it funny that Steph Curry and LeBron James still draw some of the biggest ratings in the NBA. It's really amazing.
They're popular.
They're very popular. I saw one of the things about social media about who's searched the most on Instagram, and LeBron is still number 1, like by a mile. It's amazing that these guys are still drawing ratings. There's a reason why they're on tonight. But how do you break down this team? It feels like this is going to be a season where the Warriors and Lakers both manage LeBron, and we're seeing that tonight as LeBron's going to miss the first part of the season. What do you take on this game?
Yeah, no LeBron is the big story here, obviously. But, of course, that used to be, the Lakers would be an auto fade without LeBron. But, of course, now they've got Luka, so LeBron being out, not as big of a deal as it used to be. The supporting cast, you got Austin Reeves, is decent. DeAndre Ayton, he's the new starting center. The concern, though, with the Lakers, with or without LeBron, this is something just to file away for the entire season, they aren't very good defensively. At least they weren't last year. And that could be a problem, obviously, facing a Golden State team that posted the league's 7th best offensive rating last year after they acquired Jimmy Butler. Of course, the Warriors still have Curry, Draymond Green as well, added some depth with Al Horford in the offseason. And I think it's worth noting as well, Andy, after that Butler trade, Golden State posted the league's best defensive rating. So on that note, I'm going to go under 226 here. I know the over took some money initially, but once it hit 226.5, the market, some people punched back at that. All 4 meetings between these two teams last season did go over. The last 6 meetings overall have all gone over. I understand this. I can check that matchup page out as well too, guys. But get this. Only one of those matchups last year between the Lakers and Warriors came after the Butler trade. It's opening night. Guys have some rust to shake off. So I'm going. So I think under 226 is the play here.
All right, we got Vikings and Chargers. My conspiracy theory is that J.J. McCarthy's ankle is just fine. I continue to go back to they played the first game, then he and his wife had a baby right before game 2 of the season, and he played an absolutely awful game, and the team said, you're not ready to be a first-time dad and run an NFL team. You're going to take some time off until we think you're ready to play. That's my big conspiracy theory, but because I don't know. I've not seen a guy play the whole game perfectly fine, and then afterwards they're like, oh, why? He's out 6 weeks. Something doesn't make sense with that one. We got the Chargers at -2.5, over under 43.5. What's your take on this game?
Well, can't be a dad and a starting NFL quarterback at the same time. At least J.J. McCarthy and I have one thing in common there. My take is that both teams are coming off bad losses last week. I had the Vikings in a teaser, which thankfully cashed for me. Didn't do the Vikes any good because they fell 28-22 at home to Eagles. I thought Carson Wentz was terrible in that game. Just awful. 2 interceptions. One of them was a pick six. Bad execution in the red zone. It wasn't all on Wentz. Some of it was on the backup center. There was a play, a third down play where the center just hiked the ball just way over Wentz's head. They lost 15, 20 yards. Still got a field goal out of it, though. But Vikings did slightly outgain the Eagles in total yards. Everybody outgains the Eagles, it feels like. But a little total yards, a little misleading in that game, Andy, if you pry open the box score a little bit more, because the Eagles had a big edge in yards per play. So that's just worth noting. And you talked about J.J. McCarthy, your conspiracy theory. My thought is they're going to go back to him eventually, but not here. Short week. Doesn't make sense to do it. So I think we got one more week of Wentz. I think a bigger concern, though, it's interesting to see, was this just a one-off or what? Last week, defensively, the Vikings allowed Jalen Hurts to finish with a perfect passer rating. I was shocked by that. This is a defense, a Vikings defense, with Brian Flores as a coordinator. It's always very good. They came into the last week with the second lowest QBR allowed. So now the Vikings go against Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I, like a lot of people, was on them last week, and there's no sugarcoating this. The Chargers sucked defensively. I mean, sucked really bad against the Colts. They were just carved up in a 38-24 loss. I know Herbert throws for a career best in yardage. He had a career best 37 completions as well. But he's now thrown at least one pick for the last 5 games, threw a costly one in the end zone against the Colts. And the Chargers are heading in the wrong way, Andy. They're heading in the wrong direction. Failed to cover 4 in a row. Their only straight-up win in that stretch was against Miami, and it was by 2, and they needed a last-second field goal to get that win. Guys, truth be told, I don't want to bet on either of these teams right now. I think the Vikings would be a good teaser piece, is what I would say. I know Stanford Wong, the parameters he has set forth for us, says you don't tease when a team is getting 3, but this game just screams one possession either way to me. I don't see either team winning by margin here. So there's a lot of possible options on Sunday for a second leg of a teaser. I circled Houston. You could tease them up to 7.5 at home right now at both DraftKings and FanDuel against San Francisco. So throw Minnesota in a tease, guys. I don't see the Chargers winning this game by margin. It's 2 teams that I just really don't want to bet on. I know it's kind of a cop-out here, but look, man, when you got 2 teams like this, I think that's the way to go.
I'll just say keep looking at Justin Herbert over his passing yards props. If that defense keeps leaking like it does, he's going to have to keep throwing all day long. And they got a great receiving core. You could argue that's one of the best in the league with Keenan Allen playing like he's did, Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey. That tight end is now emerged. So that team would be scary if they get a defense. But right now, yeah you're right.
Well, yeah, it was awful last week, but it remains to be seen. Look, the Colts, and you know this, Andy, probably better than most. The Colts offense is just clicking on all cylinders. I joked about this yesterday with Prez and Joe Ranieri. It would be nice if a Colts opponent, I'm not a defensive coordinator in the league, but if I was, and I was facing the Colts next week, I would probably have someone cover Tyler Warren, who appears to be open on every single play. It's unbelievable how this guy is open just every time.
Do you know who they play? Because that's going to be a tall task.
Yeah, Tennessee, a team who does not know how to cover anybody. Apparently, I found that out the hard way. Look, I'll acknowledge this right now because it is $5 Tuesday. Last week, $5 Tuesday, I was wrong. I took the bait. I took the Tennessee Titans, and guess what? The Tennessee Titans stink. All right, guys. I know people let me have it on Twitter. Oh, how do you like the Titans out? Look, they lost Simmons midway through the game and they were dead. Okay, they got off to a nice start. I was like, this is great. They were winning 10-3. And then they just, well, I don't know. They just stunk. But we had Detroit last night in the NFL, which was a nice bounce back as a 4% play. Had Seattle as well in the baseball game. I know a lot of people here were happy. A lot of WagerTalk handicappers were happy to see the Blue Jays win, but me, not so much.
Well, you'll get back after it. We got long ways until the next baseball season, so you got a lot of days to crunch those numbers and such. So, all right, Brian, it's $5 Tuesday this week. What do you have up for clients?
Yeah, time is ticking. I'm not wearing my watch, but I'll pretend I am. Time is ticking because my $5 play this week is in the Champions League, and it goes at 3 Eastern. So we've only got 2.5 hours to get down. Since April of 2024, no one's made more money at WagerTalk betting soccer than me, up 53.4 units during that time. Number one in UEFA competitions during that time frame as well. That includes 2 for 2 so far in October. My last Champions League bet was a 4-1 winner. Very easy. If you do not normally bet soccer, guys, the $5 price, I think, is a great opportunity for you to try. Again, WT.buzz/BP. This is a 4% best bet as well. It's not just any bold play. 4% best bet, $5, WT.buzz/BP.
Bryan Power, everyone. $5 Tuesday. Go get locked in. You get some afternoon winners and profits in the Champions League with Bryan Power. My $5 Tuesday play is up. We're going to the NHL. Contender Series is over. I'm so sad. The last 10 weeks, every Tuesday, we did $5 Tuesday on Contender Series. So now I got to get a new theme. And the theme is pretty obvious. It's going to be a player prop in NHL or NBA. So we're going to pick our favorite prop on the Tuesday slate. Could be NHL, could be NBA. I almost made it in NBA, but I'm just going to give you my leans for tonight. I'm not 100% confident enough to put these up as client plays. So there is one that stuck out like a sore thumb on NHL. That's going to be my $5 Tuesday play. That is up right now. We hit 60% of NHL plays last year. We lost our one last night. That was a bummer. We barely hit our Monday night football play by half a yard. So that was a nice win. But a $5 Tuesday play, let's do some player props in all around the world. Here are my leans that I just couldn't quite get to the window. I'm going to go to this Rockets and Thunder. And Reed Shepherd, they posted his assists at 2.5. It's a brutal matchup. It's one of the hardest backcourts to try and dribble the ball up against. That's why this number is so low. But this is the starting point guard for the Rockets. They're going to have to see what he can do, especially at the beginning of the year. They got to see what they have with him. I think he's going to get a lot of minutes. They're going to have to see how he handles pressure. And I think just being in the game for that many minutes is going to get him over this assist. So I'm going to monitor that one closely. I'm going to the Warriors and Lakers. I'm looking at Austin Reeves over 4.5 rebounds. This was a great trend to play when LeBron was out last year. He went over this in 8 out of 9 games. X factor, though, they do have DeAndre Ayton, and some of those games, about half of them were before the Luka trade. So, again, not playing it, just kind of monitoring it. And then Ducks at Predators, Frank Vatrano, over 1.5 shots on goal. He's gone over in 3 out of 5 games, but I love his last 2 games. 4 and 3 shots on goal last 2 games, and he's gone over the last 3 games against the Nashville Predators. So, looking at Frank Vatrano, this did not make the card because he doesn't play on the power play, and I like playing guys that see some power play lines on that one. So, those are today's free plays. Let's bring in the Prez. Lawrence, how are you, sir?
Oh, Andy, I'm excited to be here. Wow, dude, I went to the game last night. It was so incredible. I had a freaking blast.
Nice.
And I told the story on the best betting show ever, and I'll tell it really quick. Like, I tell a longer version there, but long story short, Vivian and I bought tickets the night before, right after Game 6. We got caught up in the excitement of Game 6. We went on, we bought tickets in the 200 section. We did not know that we were under an awning in the last row and were unable to see fly balls. I mean, we were able to see everything except for balls that went in the air, which I did not realize this. Most balls go in the air. True story.
Yes.
So, yeah, we were struggling. But lo and behold, Prez, did you get hammered last night? Oh, Julia, you don't know the Prez if you think I got hammered last night. I haven't been hammered since I was 16 years old. So anyway, long story short, Andy, we get annoyed. We are so frustrated. We're like, I'd rather go home than sit in these shitty ass seats. So Vivian's like, let's go down to the 100 section, take a picture on the field. Like, you can go right up during the innings. You can go right up to the field, take a quick, and then go. We took a picture. We noticed 2 seats, 5 rows up from the field, and we just planted ourselves there, and nobody showed up. We had the most incredible seats.
That's awesome.
The home run went right over. Oh, my God. It was unbelievable. What a night. What a night. Okay.
Calm yourself. Let's talk NFL. Let's talk the Cowboys and the Broncos. I feel like mascot-wise, It doesn't get much better than a Cowboy playing a Bronco, right? Like I feel like this is just the perfect,
I
perfect
think
mascot game.
A Cowboy should ride a Bronco, not play with a Bronco. But either way, it would be interesting to see the Dallas Cowboy mascot riding. I mean, maybe some people might even find that a fetish. I don't know, Andy. But you brought up
there
the
would be at
mascot.
least one. There would at least be one that would get a kick out of that.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's talk this spread here. It's a vanilla total here. Denver minus 3, over under 49. You're getting two really vanilla numbers here. Key number of 3, then the 49.
Well, there's 3.5s all over the place, Andy. I mean, you got 3.5.
Okay, so you can get the hook.
At a bunch of these books, 3 to the juice. It's amazing. You go to Odds Logic. What an incredible site. There's so many books up there that are listed. Books I've never even heard of. And there are 3.5s out there. Look, I'd like to, I'm going to make a bet on this game, and it's not going to be on the side. If I had to take the side, I would take Dallas here. I actually think that this Denver team is not nearly as good as we expected. Defensively, I'm super surprised at what we're seeing with this Denver team. Not only did they allow the Giants to put up a bunch of points, 19-0 at one point, and then, when it's time for your team to start rallying, right? That's when the defense steps up. You're down 19-0. You march down the field, you score a touchdown, and you're like, okay, maybe we could pull this out. We need a defensive hold. Nothing. Giants scored again. Then you march down the field to go ahead in the most miraculous comeback in history. And you're like, no problem. We just got to stop the New York Giants, and we win the game and have the most incredible comeback ever. Nope. Defense couldn't do that. They marched down the field. They won because of a missed extra point. 2 missed extra points, to be exact. The defense looked horrible. And if you go back, sure, they look great against Cincinnati. That doesn't count. They look great against Denver. New York Jets. That doesn't count. 29 against the Colts. That doesn't seem as bad as we once thought. 23 against the Chargers. I'm not buying into this Denver defense. We all thought they were better. They're not. And I think this Dallas team is better than everyone anticipated. From a Dallas perspective, look, great work. Held Washington to 22, and it was better than 22. Washington was, basically Dallas turned into prevent. Let's go. Who cares? We're going to kill you. Defense. They could have held Washington to less than 22. I know Carolina put up 30 on them. I'm not buying the Dallas D either, which is why I love the over in this game, Andy. But from a side perspective, I think Dallas is better than the markets, and I think Denver is worse than the markets. So I think the value side-wise is on Dallas, especially at 3.5.
I was listening to a podcast with a diehard Giants fan, and they were saying that kicker that was on the team was the backup.
Right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but he was the backup at Rutgers. Yeah. And the only reason he was on the team was because he's from overseas, and they had an overseas exemption. And then the real kicker got hurt, and they're stuck with this backup kicker from Rutgers. It was just a complete disaster. So I kind of felt bad for him. This poor guy probably never thought in a million years he was going to have to be kicking field goals an extra point. But, tough one.
Listen, we all knew, and he knew, that no one will ever see him again after he missed that extra point. But hey, there's way more people to feel sorry for than him, bro. He got a chance.
That's true. Live the dream. Got to run out onto the field, shank one. I'm sure nobody reached out on social media. I'm sure they were really nice to him.
Dude, people aren't even nice to you and I on social media, and we don't even do anything. And why would they be nice to him?
It's a good point. Point.
Who cares? Anyway, I really love the over in that play in the Dallas game, Andy. And I know you wanted to talk about the side. I think it's going to be I actually think the over will be a client play. That's how strong I feel about the over in the Dallas game. And Andy, really, just to say something really quick about that over. Look, we're seeing in the last couple of years, we're seeing unbelievable offenses. I mean, the Detroit Lions offense over the last 3 years has been historically good. We are witnessing an Indianapolis Colts offense that reminds us of Manning, where it's just basically an unstoppable offense. Dallas beats them both, bro. Dallas put up 44 on Washington, 40 on Green Bay, 40 on Green Bay, 40 on the Giants, 37 on the Jets. This team has played 7 games, and they have put up 37 or more 4 times. 4 times. They have 3 games over 40 points, and a bunch of those were out without CD Lamb. So where you have Indianapolis unstoppable, Detroit redefining how offenses are run, and Dallas is ahead of both of them. I mean, it is one of the most impressive offensive performances we've ever seen over a 7-game stretch ever. And minus the Chicago game, 14 points. I mean, we're talking about numbers that are unheard of. So let's not overthink this thing. Just keep taking them over. And look, they have gone over 4 straight, and 5 of their last 6. Like, let's just not overthink this, brother.
I agree. And then you get the Dallas defense, which is non-existent to throw into boot, who can't stop anybody.
Which is, again, talking about Indianapolis and Detroit. Detroit's got a defense. Indianapolis looks like they've got a great edge rushing. They're stopping the run. So not only is Dallas's offense lights freaking out, but their defense is horrible.
Agreed. Prez, I hope you're having a good day. My day's awful. My morning's awful. This is how bad it is. Somebody hacked my Starbucks account and ordered a bunch of gift cards and started opening and spending the gift cards all across the country. At that point, just go back to bed. I mean, really, at that point, call customer service and go back to bed, because nothing you touched.
Dan, do not put up the promo that I'm offering with my 5% play. We are not giving out free Starbucks gift cards any longer. Shit.
Oh man.
Yes, blocked.
That's my morning.
Blocked rights. Yeah, I'll put that up. I look. Blocked right. Remember, Prez said Jonathan Taylor was old. Never let that go. Yeah. Do you know what else Prez said? That the New York Rangers were going to kick ass at the beginning of the season. That the Edmonton Oilers weren't going to make the same mistake they made the last 3 years. Yeah. Prez is wrong sometimes, but you know the beautiful thing? He makes adjustments. So it happens, Andy. Yeah, free Starbucks gift cards with anybody who buys my 5% play over at WagerTalk. That's actually not true, people. Do not email customer service.
I think they spent them all. That's the thing. Like, they bought them and then they spent them. RJ says, wow, who has a Starbucks account? RJ, if you don't have a Starbucks
I do.
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing, dude. The rewards and the Starbucks, you get a free drink on your birthday. I mean,
oh my God. Chad Mooney just gave me the best compliment ever in history. Prez is the Joe Biden of cappers. Now, I got to explain why that is such, wow. Oh my God, dude, this guy is a career politician who picked politics and made it to the top. Are you kidding me?
You don't know. You just gave Prez one of the most envious situations
ever. Are you kidding? It doesn't. Sexy devil. Or if you like Joe Biden or you don't. It doesn't matter if you agree with Joe Biden or you don't. What we do know is he picked a career, stayed in it for 50 years, and reached the absolute pinnacle of that career. Thank
As
you.
soon-
Thank
As soon
you.
as I saw that comment, I was like, "Oh, that was right in Prez's wheelhouse."
Oh my God.
Right in Prez's wheelhouse.
Oh my God. I'm emotional. Oh.
All right. Well, let's talk
Yeah,
NHL.
Chad,
You already
good comeback, Chad. Good try. But yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right, let's talk some NHL. You already touched on some teams. The Panthers are stumbling. I think that was kind of to be expected. What's your take so far early in the season?
Yeah, I suck. Let's start with that. I'm 6-11 to start the season. I am not seeing it very well right now, but it's mostly 2% and 3% plays. I actually have my strongest NHL play of the year up tonight of $5. But looking at the season now, what I am seeing and what is the real takeaway here, and Joe Ranieri actually mentioned this to me on the best betting show ever. I think we got to look at the Grand Salami over every day right now, Andy. The Grand Salami, for all you people who are unaware, is where they take all the teams. So the Grand Salami tonight, I can't get it really quick. Sorry, I don't. 24 and a half. What is it? 24 and a half goals for all teams combined. That can't be right. Anyway, the Grand
Logic. It's on Odds Logic, I believe, has the Grand Salami.
Yeah, well, you can make those, but no, it's 61 and a half goals combined.
There you go.
So 61 and a half goals combined is the Grand Salami. And Andy, the takeaway really is that there is an incredible amount of time without goaltenders in nets right now. We are seeing teams down 4-1, pulling a goalie with 5 to go. We're seeing teams down 3-1, pulling a goalie with 3 minutes to go. A few years ago, you would not be doing that. You would be pulling the goalie with, 150 on the clock. 2 minutes was sort of that spot where you started looking. We're just seeing so many empty netters. It's unbelievable. And I think when you're looking at a big slate of games like tonight where you have 10 games, the question is how many empty net goals are going to happen in a group of 10 games. And I think we can see at least 10. So,
wow.
And especially we got a lot of tight games tonight, right? So these tight spreads where you're looking at Toronto is a short spread. Vancouver is a short spread. Edmonton is a short spread. Florida, St. Louis, Nashville, Colorado. These are all short spreads suggesting 3-2, 4-3, 2-1 games, more opportunity for empty netters. So my takeaway right now is stay away from unders and look to bet the Grand Salami over the total because, these empty netters are really having an effect on these games.
I like that. What's more fun than betting on something like that? I mean, that's just an awesome bet to try.
Betting on George
track.
Springer hitting a home run in the bottom of
was pretty good.
7th. How incredible is forget about betting for a second or even being a fan. This is a guy that played in the backyard, bottom of the bases loaded, bottom of the ninth. I'm 6 years old. Boom, and he did it. And then Jeff Hoffman strikes out the freaking side for the first time all year. Are you kidding me?
It was an amazing moment, and I'm not even that huge of a baseball fan, but that was
Dude, so the
amazing.
story goes, the voice of the Blue Jays is a gentleman named Dan Schulman, wonderful guy. He tells the story that he saw Hoffman about an hour before Game 6, and he goes to Hoffman, "Do you have 6 outs in you tonight?" And Hoffman goes, 6 tonight and 3 tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome. That's the right answer. That's how you answer.
I got
question.
goosebumps, dude. It's so exciting. Oh my God, it was so exciting. Anyway,
my senior year, my college basketball team made it to the national championship game, and even though we lost, it was the most amazing day. And I was like, everybody should be able to experience their team making it to the pinnacle. It was. I'm happy for you guys that you guys got to do that. Now you get to root on in the World Series. It's going to be awesome. All right, I got a segment for you, Prez. I kind of told you about it yesterday. So tell everyone your idea for your YouTube channel called Why.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start doing it where I'm actually gonna be using a different name for this channel. I'm gonna go under Johnny Y. because
It's a good name. That's a great name.
Yeah, so I'm going to be like, welcome everybody to blah blah. This is Johnny Y. So I'm going to, because I love changing my name. So I'm going as Johnny Y. And then after I run it and run out of Y's, I'm going to go to Johnny How. and that's when we're going to talk about how was milk invented, which is really crazy. Like, sun-dried tomatoes. How did you come up with cheese? Seriously, did you leave milk on the veranda? I know, veranda. You don't get to use that word very often. And then we're going to go to Johnny When. So, yeah.
This is going to be on for generations. You got Johnny How, Who, What. Okay, so as long as you're Johnny Y, which, by the way, Dan, I can't wait to see the graphic for Johnny Y, because that's going to be a great graphic. All right, so I'm going to jokingly give you a Y, and you tell me if it's good enough to make your show for Johnny Y or if it's too dumb and we pass. Okay, so here's the Y for this week. Are you ready? Is it good enough for your show? Yeah. Why do they call it a pillowcase? It's a sheet. There's no cases. It should be called a pillow sheet.
Okay. I can actually argue that it is a case, Andy.
There's no case that's a sheet.
What is
it's a sheet.
So a sheet goes on top of something. A case is something you put something into. You put a pillow into something, which could arguably be a case. I don't know what the exact definition of case is, but I would say that it is more of a case than a sheet. So I'm not buying what you are laying down, Andy. I got to be honest here.
So it's a pass.
It's more.
It's a pass. You're not doing it. Yeah. Johnny Y is not I'm arguing. I'm arguing it's the same material as the sheet I lay on. It's a pillow.
Yeah,
sheet.
well,
a sheet that goes
a
on
case
your pillow.
is the same. There are many leather cases which are the same material as the pants your wife wears when she wants to be sexy. My wife, I meant. Don't they wear leather pants when they try to be sexy? I don't know. That's not a thing.
It's $5 Tuesday, Lawrence. What do you have up?
Thanks for asking, Andy Lang. I got at 2 plays. So first off, I got my NBA future bet. Andy freaking Lang. If you've got, I'm not even giving this to you for free. You got to go buy my NBA future bet yourself, bro. Like I am a perfect 3-0 in NBA future bets in my life. So how rare is this play? It's my 4th one. How rare are future bets? I'm 8-3 in my life. In my whole life, I'm 8-3 in future bets. This is a rare play. Make sure to get this play. It's $5. I had Indiana over the total last year as my future bet. It won with games to play. I got another one that will win with games to play again. So check that out. Also, I have my biggest NHL play up tonight over at WagerTalk for $5. Yes, I am 6-11 on the NHL season. So be it. I was the best NHL expert last year. I had an amazing regular season the year before. NHL is the best sport I do. So what? Then I'm 5 games down. This goes to June. This is my largest play tonight. It's $5. It's an NHL money line bet. 4% play. I'm 20-6 in these plays. Andy, dude, thanks for having me here, brother. I loved doing this. And guys, please check out the best betting show ever. Joe Ranieri, Art DeCesar, and myself. This show and WagerTalk Today bookends your day perfectly.
It's a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday, Prez. Put in the comments section any Y's that you have for John.
Yeah, because I'm gonna start taping these things in the next few days, right? And we're gonna stay inside of sports. Why? As a field.
Yes, your channel is sports related for the record.
For now, once I run out of sports, I'll become Johnny How, and we'll talk about inventions.
All right. I love it. Good talking to you as always, Lawrence. Tell Vivian we said hey. Have a good one.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Thanks, guys. Like always, show kind of went off the rails here a little bit. It's $5 Tuesday. Lawrence has his best bet that is up. I have my NHL player prop, and basically from now until, June, my $5 Tuesday play is always going to be player props, and thank you so much for everyone that joined on me through the Contender Series. I like doing the themes. Bryan Power is up, as does Jesse Schule, so take advantage of $5 Tuesday. Get as many plays as you're comfortable with. Make sure we're betting responsibly. Try one out with your favorite handicapper. Try handicappers you haven't bet with. And listen, George, George, you're one of the best in the chat in the comment section. Like, George is like quality, not quantity. He just comes from the top rope and drops big wang line, penetrating the hole and scoring, hitting the gritty. Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great Tuesday, guys. We're going to do it again, same time, same place tomorrow. Good luck on your bets. Let's have a great $5 Tuesday. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.